The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello and welcome to this special presentation by PROTRADE United on 8 steps to fill your schedule with quality work in 2020. It's great to have you on the session, and we're going to jam-pack the next 45 to 50 minutes of some quality content that you can utilize to get kick-started and ensure that 2020 is one of your best years yet. So I'm John Mailer. I'm the CEO and founder of PROTRADE United, and I'll be leading the session tonight. I see that we've got a few regular webinar junkies who have been on the sessions with us before today, which is terrific, so thanks for that. And if this is your first time on a webinar or seminar via the internet or the web, terrific, congratulations for embracing technology and a new platform on how to learn and grow and keep developing yourself as a business owner. So for the next 45 or 50 minutes, just relax, be open, take some notes along the way. My goal is not to tell you aspects of your business that you already know, although some of you will be familiar with some of the concepts I want to talk about tonight, but it's to challenge the way you're currently doing things so that you can produce a different result. So if something comes along, rather than dismissing it, maybe ask a different question. Say, how could I make that work in my business? Let's be present. Lots of distractions, obviously, that can take place, but the more you're present, the more you may get from the session, and it could be the one-liner here or the idea there that is the real key for you in the session. You are going to receive a recording, so that means that if you enjoyed listening to tonight and you wanted to re-listen to it, or even share it with some co-workers or business partners, to engage them and help them implement some aspects of the business tools that we're going to share tonight. Terrific. And we're going to give you also an opportunity to share and participate the session. It's not just a monologue and me delivering. I like to keep it a bit of a dialogue as well. So I'll give you an indication on how to do that. Just a snapshot of PROTRADE United and who we are and how we position ourselves. So simply put, we believe we're the number one advisory business supporting the construction and trade business owners in Australia, and also venturing now into New Zealand, which is exciting. Simply put, we deliver no-nonsense, straight-talking business guidance and advice to help business owners do one of three things. Firstly, to stabilize and streamline their business. So what that really means is, how do I create consistency of income, profitability, and also cash flow as well? Because once I've got that, I can have some choices around which way I like to take the business. But that's really the first step. Secondly, if you get to that stage and you like to grow or scale, that could be either the number of projects you're doing, if you're in the construction space, number of vans or teams on the road, if you're doing mainly service and maintenance, or a bit of both, and how do you do that profitably? And last but not least, but an important aspect, is you may wish to step back off the tools, allow the business to give you a sense of freedom. Perhaps just choose a role, not multiple roles in the business, or maybe sell part of the business or all of the business, or manage someone from your team buying you out, and we can offer some support and guidance around that. So that's how we position ourselves. And an example of just some of our clients, we work with plumbers and plasterers, painters, landscape gardeners, builders, electricians, anyone who's great with their hands, but love to take their business skills and grow them as good as their trade skills. And today's session is for business owners who wish to think a little bit differently about your business, how to create a simple yet solid game plan for 2020, how to attract and convert consistently the high quality work, commit to making 2020 your best year ever, and how to use technology to free up and give you availability to more time and energy. So if you tick one or all of those, you are in the right place for the next little while. So just to give you an indication on how we're going to run the session, you will see a little control panel, usually pops up on the right-hand side of your screen. And this is your opportunity if you wish to ask questions, make comments along the way. And I'm going to give you an opportunity to do something right now. If you can hear me clearly, please click the hand button, say hi, and maybe even if you'd like to make a comment and say, where are you listening from in the session this evening? Just, hey, it could be, hi, it's John, I'm here at Mount Coolum, which is actually where I am, at Mount Coolum. in not so sunny Queensland at the moment. However, please go ahead, and it gives me the opportunity just to see who is on the session. So I can see Craig, we've got Joseph, Anita, David, Ben, Robert, John, Peter, Hayden. Thank you, Brett. Terrific. So thank you for sharing all of that. We've got Chris from Gippsland, John from Mount Tamborine, beautiful Lauren from the Blue Mountains, Justine from Brisbane North, Matt's from Melbourne, Brian in WA, Rainy North Lakes, Anita, yep, it's Mercedes from Sydney. Geez, I like that name, Mercedes, that's great. And Rhiannon from Brisbane, and Alex from Sydney, Tina from Currumbin, Penny from Caloundra, Ben from SA, and Andrew from the Mornington Peninsula. So that's just a snapshot. Thank you for commenting and interacting, because that's what today is all about. So let's keep moving. And in relation to winning work at the moment, to fill your schedule with quality work, what do you find the most challenging at this point in time? You know, where are the headaches currently in your business? Where does it feel clunky and, let's call it, not flowing? What do you feel is getting in the way at this point in time? So I'm going to give you about 30 seconds just to jot down your thoughts. I'd love to get a feel for what you're dealing with in your business in early 2020, just to ensure that we're on the same page and to ensure that I can address some of the concerns that you may have. So just for 30 seconds, go ahead, jot down some thoughts and share with me what's most challenging for you at this point in time. Right, so let's have a look at what has come up there. So Ben's got expanding his current client base. Mercedes has got clients wanting to go with the cheapest option. Yeah, that can be challenging too. John's got lack of direction, no clear plan going forward. Traditional work has slowed. Ben's got how to create more leads. Maddie's the same as well, new leads. And Ben's got finding the right time and balancing that with being on the tools and in the office. Chris has got the time to build processes and procedures, and Rhiannon's got scheduling more effectively when we need to account for, where the house builder schedules, Dick's going over. Ben's got cash flow as well. So when you've jotted those, and thank you for sharing. When you've shared with me what's going on for your business, what I really get is everybody can relate in one way, shape, or another. Business is not an easy game. You didn't sign up for an easy journey. Let's face it, some days you can be excited and passionate about your business, and the next day you're questioning your sanity. So the reality is you didn't sign up for an easy game. However, one of my wealthy mentors said to me, John, don't wish life was easier, just wish you had better skills. And, I've taken that on board, and what I really see with the clients that we work with, they don't sit there and whinge and moan and complain about how bad life is. Yes, we acknowledge there's some things that aren't working. Yes, there's some things that suck, and there's a lot of things going really well. But what you can do is work on yourself. And so the goal of the session tonight is give you some aspects to work on your business, but also with yourself. And the thing that I work with a lot of our clients on is this word clarity. And it's like heading off on a journey. And if you've got no clarity of the direction you're going to head, doesn't mean that the journey's not going to be exciting, doesn't mean it might go, and take you on some exciting paths, yet you may not end up where you'd like to. So in this scenario, it's about finishing strongly at the end of the year, but you do that by starting off powerfully. And so clarity precedes mastery. You might hear me say that a number of times on this session. So before I get into some steps to fill your calendar with quality work, let me ask you this question. Who do you think the number one barrier, or I might have given that away, what is the number one barrier to consistently attracting quality work? The number one barrier. And I did give it away before because I said who. And the answer is you. You might like to think that it's your employees. It could be the marketplace. It Could be the clients you have. It could be the people who whinge and moan and complain about how expensive you are. It could be your competitors. But the reality is that's all external. And as long as you keep going externally and blaming the external circumstances, you will never progress, never move forward. But as soon as you say, and one of my favorite quotes is, as soon as you take responsibility for everything that shows up in your life, you have the possibility to change anything in your life. So if you approach that whatever's showing up in your business, you've attracted in some way, shape, or form, take responsibility for it. And then you take the power away from anybody else, put it in your own hands to go and change and make anything happen. So from here, what I want to invite you to do is look at what you really need to change. And the 80-20 rule we apply in this scenario is basically sharing with you, and this is what I see time and time again, is that 20% of the results that people produce in their business, in their lives, the results that are produced, 20% is relatable to the tactics or the skills or their ability. 80% comes down to themselves, and some people call it their mindset, but a lot of times it's the belief in themselves and their willingness to change their view. And it's often said that when you change the way that you look at things, the things that you look at will change. So I'm going to give you a very quick answer. If you would like consistent, profitable work, and the word I'm going to use here is profitable. Some of you may have heard me use this example before. One of the things I challenge business owners to do is consistently look at their pricing strategy and raise their prices at least every 6 to 12 months. Now, that is not a complicated process. You go into your software or whatever spreadsheet you're using, and you tweak the number, tweak the margins or your markup, and voila, it happens. So it's not complicated to do that. That's the 20%. But what happens on the other side? What does the 80% say? Maybe the 80% says, oh, geez, I wonder if I'll win enough work. What will my customers or my competitors think? Am I really worth that? And the stories go on and on. And so we like to challenge people emotionally from their comfort zones, not necessarily physically as well. And if you're prepared to change, then I guarantee you could change anything. So tonight's about challenging a few of the ways that you're doing things and giving you the opportunity to implement some new tools. So we need a recipe. And what is a recipe? Well, a recipe provides you with a consistent, repeatable, and most of the time predictable outcome. So those three words again: consistent, repeatable, and predictable. That's really what a recipe is. And so how about we create a recipe for consistent quality work in 2020? So I'm glad you asked, what are the steps going to be? So number one, as we get into it, guys, number one, we need to create your outcome. Now, what I mean by that is getting clarity about what 2020 is going to be for you. So the way I like to do this with clients is I say, listen, what are you celebrating? It's December 31st or maybe December 24th, 2020. What are you celebrating? What specific events have taken place this year? What specific outcomes have you produced? What specific results have shown up, both in your business and in your life? Because business is part of your life, although you may feel that sometimes it is your whole life. Make it specific and make it real. Keep it really simple. Complex is the enemy of greatness. What do you need to say no to this year? And Steve Jobs said this beautifully before he passed away, is that simplicity and success is about what you say no to, not what you say yes to. Focus is about saying no. And then create a structure to check in regularly. Now, one of the things that we do when we work with clients, we work with them at least on a monthly basis and then give them the opportunity to check in and us check in with them as well, how they're traveling, financially, marketing-wise, sales-wise, personally as well. And that's one of the attributes of great leaders, is they have the ability to recognize patterns, step back, observe, adapt, change, improvise. So if you're at this stage now, which is early February 2020, and you're not really clear about the results that you'd like to produce for this year, this is where you have to start. Please do not go on any further, and maybe just take time to get a pen and paper after this session, and for 15 minutes, just jot down a list of everything that you'd like to produce. Don't be unreasonable. Go for it. And then you can refine that list. Go for general to start off with and then make it really specific. An example of that general is generate more profit. That's very general. Versus, I would like to generate $100,000 in pre-tax profit after paying myself a salary. Yeah, that is specific as well. But keep it simple. And then part of recognizing is what do you need to let go of, stop doing, say no of, simplify to help you create flow, not drag you down. So that's number one, create your outcome. Yeah. Secondly, part of that, because we're going to talk about consistent, profitable work, have a look at what your profit goal is versus your income goal. So one of the questions that I like to ask business owners when I start working with the very first time, I said, just out of interest, have you got an income goal for the next 12 months? And that's usually the answer. It's silence, it's, well, a roundabout figure. Very rarely does someone say, I need to generate $678,000 in sales. They might come up with a figure, which could, I say like a million. Million just sounds good. How did you come up with that? I don't know. It's 20% more than last year. Isn't that what we're supposed to do if we want to grow our business? And all of these things come up. Inherently, nothing's wrong with those answers, but does it really work? So I like to say, well, let's generate your income goal by setting a profit goal first. So you want to work backwards from your profitability, add your overheads, add your costs or direct costs of doing a job, and then create your income and job numbers required. So here's an example, okay? And again, you may want to watch this recording and run through it for your own business afterwards or some of your team players. So in this business, we're going to keep it really simple. We created a target of $150,000 in net profit. Remember, that's pre-tax profit after paying the owner a salary, a market salary for their wage. We input their overheads. Now, the overheads are the numbers that are hanging over our head every month, what the costs are to run the business, and therefore that generated a gross profit requirement of $450,000. So this is gross profit is what we call your real income after paying the costs of doing the work, primarily your materials, your labor, ancillary costs, plant and equipment hire, those types of things. So this business had a gross profit percentage of 45, which means of every dollar they earned or they generated in sales income or job income, they kept 45 cents because 55% was the cost of doing the work. So therefore, the sales income this business required was $1 million. And again, we've kept it really simple. Now, because they have an average job value of $1,000, that means they need to complete 1,000. They need to win, complete, invoice, and be paid for $1,000. So again, you can run through this again in your recording, but I'd love you to be sure that you know what your profit target is, and then you can create your income and required jobs from there. I trust that makes sense, but at least it gives you some structure and clarity of which to go to work on. So quick check-in. We're just getting warmed up. What's been most valuable for you so far? Just share with me in the comment section, what have you taken home just so far in those first 2 points, and maybe having a look at where you could challenge yourself in your business and personally over the year ahead. Away you go. Just for 30 seconds. Love to see what you've taken from the sessions so far. All right, thank you for sharing. So we've got, what have we got coming up here? So creating a profit goal. Thanks, John. Aaron's got understanding the numbers. And here's the thing, Aaron, and for everybody else, if you don't understand your numbers, you don't understand your business. You may have an intuitive aspect around it, but the numbers tell the story. Justine's got the confidence to say no. Yeah, beautiful. Anita's got don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. You bet. Start with the end in mind and work backwards, says Christina. Be more confident and do not discount on quality. I'm going to talk about it later on a little bit as well. But you guys, what I get is that you are too good to discount. too good to discount. And you need to believe in yourself enough to say no to the people who keep wanting to discount your services. Yeah, so we've got Craig's got profit versus income, creating an overall outcome, says Craig. Have a specific goal, not just do your best, says Christina. Thank you. Saying no to business that isn't your core work. Catchy's got not setting up an income goal but working backwards. Good on you, Catchy. Ben, I love how you reverse engineer the projected profit. And Rhiannon's got nothing new so far. You're saying is out of the top 3 sales books currently. Thank you. And here's the thing. Good to review. And here's the thing: not often as business owners do we need to be learning a lot of new stuff. Maybe it's just remembering what we already know, and possibly the session today could be helping you remember what you already know, but are you implementing it as we go? Good job. So here we go. Number 3, if you want to attract quality work, it starts off by knowing exactly who you want to do business with. Who are the clients you want to work with? Yeah. So the key thing here is to know and attract your dream customer. Now, the analogy I use with a number of business owners is like fishing. And listen, I don't mind going fishing, but I'm not that good. So when I go, I don't usually catch a lot. I'm happy if I catch anything. I get a nibble, I get excited. Yet I go with a friend who's really clear about the type of fish he wants to, and he goes, "What are you getting excited about that for, John? You know, it's only a toadfish. We're after the snapper." And so in the end of the day, he's really clear. I'm not. I'm excited by anything that comes along. He's really clear about what he goes out for and also what he throws back. I want you to take that on board, similarities with knowing who you want to work with and who you don't. And often the best way to start is look back over the last 12 months and ask yourself the question, who were the customers and what was the type of work that I disliked the most? What were the attributes? Who whinged, moaned, and complained? Who didn't pay me? Who was trying to discount me on price? Who never gave up and gave me grief all the way through? That tells a story. As I said, one of the number one, attributes of top business leaders is they understand patterns. They look back and reflect. So look back at who you don't want to. You also, if you have the ability to dissect your jobs and also your customers, you'll recognize the ones that fit the following profile. Now, we've come up with these 5 or the 6 Ps at ProTrade, and I want to invite you to take on that your dream customers, and history will always tell you a story, that the jobs you've enjoyed doing the most, and you'd love to have 10 of these lined up for you for tomorrow, fit the category of this. So number 1 is they're profitable at the margins that you know you need to generate your net profit. So your gross profit is achievable with these customers. They pay you according to the terms and the conditions that you have set. They pay on time. Now, you may compromise a little bit. Sometimes, we have a client who works with some government agencies. They pay on 60 days, no, not a day sooner. Yet the work is extremely profitable. They can start charging from the minute that a person hits the road and is in the van. So it's very profitable work, and they're prepared to compromise a little bit with the payment terms. They enjoy doing the work, so the customers are good to work with. They're pleasant to work with. They're almost like a silent partner in your business because they send repeat business your way, and also referrals as well. There's a pathway of least resistance to the decision maker, which means you can get to the person who says yes or says no, and you can often interact and build that relationship. And they're also prepared to follow your process. If you've ever had a customer who doesn't pay and complains, they're not enjoyable to work with. They never refer business to you. They're hard to get hold of and communicate with, and they want to do things their way and not yours. That is probably the example of the disaster customer. So be clear about what you want to attract, and then you can go to work on attracting more of those. So Andrew is one of our clients in Melbourne from 100% Plumbing, and we worked with him diligently last year to really get clarity on the dream customer. He was doing a combination of construction work as well as service and maintenance, and there wasn't really any clear delineation about which was better for him because we didn't have the right numbers. But we drilled down, and over time, Andrew got really clear that the type of client he wanted to work with was more of the commercial and the real estate agents and the building managers. Their commercial maintenance and service business is where he generates the best repeat business, the best referrals, the most profitable work. They pay, and they're prepared to go with him and trust him with the process that he has. So there's an example. I encourage you to do the same as well. And sometimes, again, it's about what you say no to versus saying yes to everything. Because when you aim to be all things to everyone, you're actually nothing to no one. So that's number 3. And then that leads into asking you, do you know what your magic number is? And you're probably saying, John, what do you mean by the magic number? If you told me what that is, I might be able to actually tell you if I know. Well, let's run through this. The magic number that we work with clients on at ProTrade is the target number of new inquiries your business needs to generate on a weekly/monthly basis to achieve your profitability goals. So let's have a look and put an example in place. And then you can go to work and do your own. Now, you may call it another number. We call it the magic number because it is a leading indicator of how your business is going to progress in the year ahead. So you remember the business that we worked with previously. They needed a sales income of $1 million. We know that they had an average job value of 1,000, so therefore they needed 1,000 jobs. Now, we're going to add some other information here. They convert, and again, we're using very simple round figures. Every job that they quote for or give a price on, they win 50%, so 1 in every 2. Again, round figures to make it easy. Therefore, they need to generate at least 2,000 quotes. They need to quote on 2,000 jobs a year, winning 50% of them to put those 1,000 jobs in the calendar. Now, not every inquiry that comes in do they get to quote on. Maybe it's the wrong type of customer, maybe it's the wrong type of job, it's not suitable at that point in time. And again, using really simple figures, maybe it's from inquiries to come, they only quote on 50% of the jobs. Now that's pretty low, I would presume, for most businesses, but again, we're doing it to keep the numbers easy. Therefore, this business needs 4,000 inquiries per year to reach its sales income target and therefore its profit goal. So the magic number in this situation is 80 inquiries per week. 80 inquiries per week. Now, if they tweak and get better with their sales conversion rate and they get better with their inquiry to quote rate, obviously that number will come down dramatically. You know, you get a better conversion rate, you go from 50 to 60%, 60 to 70%. And the same with inquiry to quote, you can dramatically reduce that number. But this is just an example. Now, if you don't know your sales conversion rate or your inquiry to quote percentage, that's where I suggest you go to work and start understanding those numbers in your business, because then you now have a target. In this business, 80 inquiries a week. I think that's a lot for a generation of $1 million. But again, we wanted to keep the numbers super simple. So now if you know your dream customer, you know the number of inquiries you need to generate. Now you have the ability to go out and implement some marketing strategies. Now again, marketing is not complex. In fact, there's a plethora of ways to really complicate marketing. But again, keeping it simple, knowing your dream target customer. We talk about some simple low-cost lead generation strategies straight up. Now, again, adapt the ideas, guys, depending on your business, the type of customer. Is it project work? Is it service? Is it maintenance? Is it commercial, industrial, residential? Again, but some simple things that we recommend you put in place and wash, rinse, repeat. You know, generating quality leads is not about doing 1,000 things. It's about doing 10 things 1,000 times. And you have to be persistent and consistent. These aren't strategies to just do, oh, well, give it a go for a week and I'll see what happens. So number 1, local area marketing. Now, if you're in the residential space, this is a no-brainer. You've got signage on your vans, you've got core flute signs, you've got A-frames that you can put out to let everybody know. We call it the nosy neighbor likes to know what's going on next door. So the van signage, uniforms, core flute signs, A-frames, super essential. The visibility, you know, brings that to the surface. 4+3. So we talk about this local area flyer drop. So stock standard is that before anybody goes on site, the 3 houses either side and the 4 across the road all get a little flyer telling the neighbours what's going on, who you are, what you're about, how you're helping your customer that day, and if it's suitable, an opportunity to give you a call with possibly an incentive to say thank you for giving us a go. Now, it's not about discounting, but maybe it's a little value add there. So again, that's what we work with our clients on. Now, think about it. If a business, and we were just doing the numbers with a plumbing business, a business that was doing 40 jobs a week. Now, 40 jobs a week, with vans there with signage, the A-frames out the front, and the 4+3 strategy means that 10 flyers are going out per job times 40. So 400 flyers are going out week in, week out, week in, week out, week in, week out. What happens in your local area over time, people get to see your vans, your vehicles, your flyers, and your reputation builds up. CRM means customer relationship management. If you have some software, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later on, to put in all of your inquiries and all of your customers, every 3 months, connect and check in. So chatting with an electrician client in Melbourne last week, I said, he said it's a little bit slow for the start of the year. And I said, so how many, clients do you have on your database that you've done work with in the last 2 years? And we did a quick count and there was about 480. I said, terrific, divide that by 12. And you've got my quick maths are there, you've got 40 per month. You multiply that by 3, so 120. So if you gave 120 of your businesses a quick check-in every 3 months just to say, hey, how are you doing? Is there anything else we can help you with? You'd be surprised at how many extra jobs you could generate by continually letting people know who you are, you care about them, and you're available. Strategic partnerships. Again, this is a great way to leverage yourself in. I mean, it's about how to achieve more with less. And I always ask the question, who is speaking to your next customer? Who are the people who are already in flow, who are already seeing people who you want to work with? So an example of a strategic partnership could be if you're doing some project work and you're an electrician, you're a plumber, you're a painter, you're a plasterer, you're a tiler, your strategic partnerships are your builders. If you want to do the project work, you only need a handful of quality builders who might do 3 or 4 homes a year each, okay? But you're their preferred supplier. Another example is if you're in the commercial service and maintenance space, then possibly building managers, the commercial property managers, commercial property agents, those people who are, again, there's a love-hate relationship sometimes with property managers and real estate agents, but there are a handful who can be consistently really great. So who is speaking to your next customer? And that's where you want to grow and evolve your relationships. If you're a builder, and maybe your next customer is speaking to an architect or a designer. And again, there's love-hate relationships between builders and architects, yet the relationships that I've seen evolve over time are where there's a mutual respect for each other and business goes both ways. And the last but not least idea here is I call it connect working versus networking. I mean, there's a theme around networking is let's get together, meet a bunch of people who I don't know, swap business cards, have a couple of drinks and talk about some warm and fluffy stuff versus let's get together with a group of people who I know are in touch with my dream client. I'm in touch with their dream client potentially. And this is about quality versus quantity. And, for example, if there's a networking group that meet weekly and there's a number of those around, the first question I would ask is who's attending? How many of my dream clients are there? Or how many of those people attending are speaking to my dream client or know people like my dream client? And if I'm going to spend an hour and a half, 2 hours a week at an event, what's the return on investment that I expect from that? And that might take some time, yet again, think about connecting versus networking. So there's just some simple fundamentals that we start to work with. I haven't touched the online space. Yeah, there's no doubt that having a quality website is essential these days. You don't need to have a multiple number of pages in a lot of cases, but you need to be able to represent your business before and after photos, showcase the work that you do, and give people a great perception that you are a professional, up-to-date, current business, because that builds the trust aspect. Because the online space is another conversation altogether. And a lot of people go, should I be investing a lot of money online? I say, well, let's get some fundamentals in place first. Let's get your local area marketing, your CRM strategy, your strategic partnerships, and connect with the people who are going to make the difference. All right. Sales got mentioned before. However, here's what I want to ask you the question of. Before we talk about converting these, what business are you in? What business are you in? Now think out loud. You may want to type some comments in there, because I believe that we're all in the same business. You might say, well, I'm a painter, I'm a plasterer, I'm a sparky, I'm a plumber, I'm a builder, I'm in the service industry, I'm in the people industry, I'm in the, in the trade and construction space. The reality is all of that is true. Yet we are all in the same business, and we are in the same business, and that is the business of solving problems. If you wake up every single day going, how do I make more sales? You'll be at a disadvantage compared to waking up and saying, how do I solve more problems and add more value? So here's what we're really in the business of. We are in the business of building trust, because what your customers are thinking is saying, can I trust you or your company to solve my problem with certainty? That is what you are selling. So if someone is inquiring, yes, they may want a problem solved, but what they're really wanting to know is, can I trust you with certainty to solve my problem? And your goal in business in 2020 is to build, businesses done at the speed of trust. How quickly can I trust you? So think about that. If there's one takeaway, is that it's how quickly can I trust you? So this is where speed and efficiency and the ability to get back to people and do it professionally is going to put you miles ahead of anybody else. The other thing I want you to consider is that people, just like you, just like me, we are greedy, we're impatient, we're lazy, and we're vain. Your customers are the same. They are greedy, they are impatient, they are lazy, and they're vain. So here's an example. If you could have $1 million or $10, what would you prefer right now? Geez, you're greedy. Now, that $1 million, would you like it right now or in 12 months' time? You want it right now? Oh my goodness. Now, would you like me to directly deposit that into your bank account, or would you like me to give you a check that you then have to go down to the bank and wait 5 days and do all that processing? You want me to do it for you? Wow. And then, hey, would you like me to shake your hand, thank you, and say, hey, it's been a pleasure working with you and giving you the $1 million, versus just throwing it at you? Of course, we're greedy, we're impatient, we're lazy, and we're vain. Let's not beat about the bush. So here's the thing. If your customers are the same, it's simple. Give more than you promise. Not a lot more, just a little bit more. Make it happen quickly. Be efficient. Make it easy for people to do business with you and make people feel good in the process. It is not complicated. Yes, there may be a number of sales processes that you can work with and sales structures, but essentially people are all the same. Wow people, give them a little bit more. Get back to people quickly. If you can handle an inquiry quickly, you scope out a job, give people a price, and follow up, my goodness, you are going to be way ahead of most other businesses, yeah? Simply because you care. Make it easy for people to do business with you. Make it easy for people to pay you. And then just thank them. Show gratitude. Feel your appreciation for them giving you the opportunity to do some work with them. I'd like you to take that on board. And if there's one thing that you'd like to put in place from this session, is ask your team and sit down and maybe brainstorm at your next meeting and say, how do we actually fill the needs of our clients using these 4 points? John, from Salmon Plumbing in Brisbane, lovely client we've been working with for a number of years, has continued to meet customers' expectations and go a little bit beyond. We've done some training with his team on how to ensure that they get back to people quickly. He's done a lot of work with his software program, so he can do a lot of quoting and pre-builds on site. So if his team get the opportunity to quote extra work, the pre-builds and the templates are there, so he can give his customers on-site quotes, ask them there and then when they like the job done. He does it quickly. He makes it easy for people to do business with him. The guys are fantastic to work with. He's got hundreds of 5-star Google reviews, and he follows just those 4 key principles religiously. Again, business is not about doing 1,000 things. It's about doing 4 or 5 things, maybe 10 things 1,000 times. Repeat business and referrals. We love a referral. We love repeat business. I'm not going to get too complex here. This is all you need to work on. Deliver more than expected. If you want people to come back again, give them more than expected. I use the analogy of a restaurant. You go to a restaurant and, we used to have a favorite little Italian restaurant in Brisbane that my wife Danielle and I would go to. And at the end of the meal, they would come around with a couple of glasses and a bottle of port. And they'd say, John, Danielle, would you like a little port? Now, it wasn't asked. Sometimes I said yes. Most of the time I said yes. A few times I said no. But again, it was just that little extra. It's like going to the coffee shop and they give you a little chocolate biscuit at the same time. It doesn't have to be a lot, but it can be something that is a little different. Here's the thing. If you want more referrals or repeat business, ask. It's not that complicated. We talked about your CRM strategy, ringing your customers every 90 days, or particularly the ones that haven't bought from me in the last 3 to 6 months. Hey, just checking in. Is there anything else I can do to help you with? If you haven't got anything going on that you'd like us to quote you with, have a process. Also to ask for referrals. One of the clients we're working with, we've helped them create a little flyer that they leave behind with every job. And what that is an education point about their referral process that basically says, if you've enjoyed the work we did with you today and you're happy with our service, we'd love you to refer on to someone else. And there's a little incentive for the person who gets the little flyer, and then the appreciation is that if that referral comes through, there's a little voucher also provided to the initial client. So show appreciation. People aren't giving you referrals because of what they're going to get. They're giving you referrals because you do a great job and you actually appreciate the referral as well. And stay in touch. Keep in touch with your business referees and also your repeat business customers. Nurture them like a garden. A garden, if you nurture it, water it and fertilize it, it grows and blooms. If you neglect it, it dies and withers away. Your customers are exactly the same. And the last little point here before we have a quick break and come home strongly with another couple of points is price for profit. I mean, this is a science in its own and a whole topic of conversation. Yet these are some must-knows. For your business and pricing with profit is know what GP or gross profit you need to generate. That is not clear, start there. Be certain you know the difference between markup and margin. Markup is what you put onto the price of a product that you bought it with. A margin is what you keep. Don't get confused. They can be very similar, but make sure you know the difference. Understand the true cost to employ your team. Most clients that we start working with, we very quickly find out that they underestimate the cost it is to employ and put someone on the tools. Not only do you pay them their hourly rate, but also you take into account all their holiday pay, their sick pay, their leave entitlements, the public holidays, and then the overhead recovery cost, because every person on the tools has an overhead component which keeps them there. Do you know what that is? And then you've got to allow for some inefficiencies, wet weather, hold-ups on the job, a poor productivity with the team. These are all the things that need to be factored in when you're pricing a job. We can help you with that if you'd like some extra clarity, but this will definitely help you know where you're sitting with your pricing. And if you want to be profitable, continue to work and track, measure, and manage it. All right, home straight, technology. Now, I mentioned in the brief for this session, we're going to talk a little bit about technology. And this again is a topic that we could go on for hours or even days. Yet what I want you to take on and invite you to explore is that technology is not going away. Technology, by the way, is not there to solve your problems. Technology is there to automate and simplify what processes that you already have in place. I've unfortunately had conversations with a number of business owners who said, I've invested thousands in this software and it's no good. And I go, oh, it's interesting. Tell me a little bit more. Oh, well, we got this guy out to do some training, bought all the iPads or the tablets, loaded it all up, and no one uses it. We're better off going back to the way we were doing things. So I would say that it's not necessarily the software challenge, it's that the systems and the processes haven't been developed and the implementation hasn't worked effectively. Yeah, so technology is like a recipe. You need certain ingredients and a certain method. Now, we have some technology that we recommend to clients. One of our partners, Simpro, who have got a product that they invest millions and millions of dollars in every year to continue to upgrade and evolve and get better and better. We did a roadshow with them last year, and just to see what they're putting into place and listening to their customers about is exciting. Build Exact is also another one for more of the construction space that we also work with, and two quality products that if you're interested in a recommendation, we have there. Other ones around the outside, if you're looking for some customer relationship management software, Zoho has a great suite. Xero obviously is a cloud-based accounting software that ties in beautifully with your job management. Your eye auditor for those people who need their workplace safety ticked off. MailChimp is a great email marketing platform. Evernote is a great note-taking platform that syncs across your tablets and your phones and the web browsers. And Wunderlist is a great way to create lists, particularly for materials on individual jobs. It's almost like a shopping list creator. And particularly if you've got guys heading off to suppliers 2 or 3 times a day for getting things, the Wunderlist is a great way to simplify and also automate and optimize your processes. So there's just a snapshot of some of the technology that we've been working with and also recommending our clients play with as well. The tech of the future, very simply, most tradies at the moment are only using technology for email, mobile banking, and accounting and bookkeeping. The opportunity for you, again, to streamline and automate and optimize and improve your current experiences, accept instant payments, get your payroll happening a lot easier, customer relationship management, as we talked about, your sales platform, external communications, and also rostering and work scheduling. Opportunities there to really evolve and grow and take your business to another level from a technology perspective. Now, we live in a high-tech world, but please understand that winning work and delivering quality work is also about high touch and working closely with your customers. Andrew, one of our clients that we've done some work with from Why Not Electrical in Brisbane, definitely embracing the technology journey. In fact, I really feel Andrew is one of those innovators in the electrical contractor space. He's continuing to push his team and challenge his team to look at ways to simplify, streamline, and what that allows him to do is keep his overheads down. That allows him to deliver his work more efficiently, allows him to win more work, still keeping his GP high, but because his overheads are down and his systems and processes are working so well, he can actually come in at a lower price. And it's not undercutting. He's still making a good margin, delivering amazing work, but he's always continuing to innovate, and that's what we encourage our clients to be doing. Now, the last part we have around our business model is challenging you to think about your business a little bit differently. So most of us, we talked about, are in the business of solving people's problems, and we deliver a service with a product along the way. Yet what I'm going to challenge your business to take on is, at the moment, the people who continue to deliver service, and in the 1980s, 1990s, and early 2000s, yes, it was about delivering great service. and an experience to your customers. But what we're really seeing is that today you're not a services company delivering electrical work, painting, plastering, building, mechanical, etc. The businesses that are embracing change, the businesses that are thinking 5 and 10 years into the future are actually technology companies that also that deliver electrical work, plumbing work, plastering, painting. They're technology companies, and they're interacting and creating a network of different technology that allows them to service customers exceptionally well, respond to inquiries, deliver jobs profitably, invoice promptly, know the numbers accurately on the spot instantly. And so, we see a lot of, we call them millennials, but the millennials, those people born from sort of like 1993 onwards, who grow up with technology, these are the ones who know that their companies are going to be technology based organizations that deliver a great service. So I want you to think about that. Where will your business be? What is your industry doing? And if you want to continually look at ways to be better with your marketing, your conversion, delivering the work, then this is where we want to help you play as well. So tech automation must have CRM, your scheduling, invoicing, customer service quality, your record keeping, and also your team communication. Oh, how are we going? Hanging in there? We've got a couple of minutes to go. You're doing great. I'd just love to hear what's been valuable, what's another take home if you've got one, or one key point that you have found valuable before I have a slight offer to finish up today and give you something to take home as well. Just tap in. Love to hear what have you found valuable. 30 seconds, away you go. All right, thank you for contributing. So Amanda's got Amanda's got, who are partnerships for residential clients? Well, it depends which space that you're in there, Amanda. Or painting, you've got there, painting. So partnerships, if you're depending, are you doing project work? Are you doing maintenance or service work? If it's project work, larger work, builders, I recommend a good quality builder would help you with that. Joseph's got making more money in my business. Mercedes has got water features. I'm not quite sure what that's about here. John's got had a heap of success when we changed over to Simpro and Zero. Good one. Craig's got getting a Simpro trainer out Thursday. Terrific. Justine's got the 4+3. Craig's got marketing as proof of promoting business. Magic number and dream client, says Penny. Marketing flyers, says Craig. Look at using more tech in the business. Hey, listen, thank you for contributing. It means that, hey, there's some points that you're taking on. And if there's some questions that you've got, here's the thing, you've got some questions and we're not able to answer them tonight. What I'd love you to do, encourage you to email them through to our team and the email address that comes with the registration of this webinar. And we'd love to follow up and assist you with anything there that you've got some specific questions on. So, interestingly enough, a lot of business owners hear what we say. They understand it, nod their heads intellectually and go agree with the principles, get excited about what's possible and know it's the thing that they should do, yet they do nothing. Because what gets in the way, and this is what gets in the way, it's called the whirlwind or the tornado. Now, depending on what time of the day it is and in what part of the country you're in, you might still be part of the whirlwind. But for most people, it starts at about 5 o'clock in the morning. There's rings, there's dings, there's pings, there's vibrations, there's emails, there's phone calls coming in, and there's distractions and reactive work going on all day. And then at some time in the afternoon, it spits you out and says, how'd you go? Do you have a good day? Well, buckle up because it is on again tomorrow. So that's the whirlwind. That's what we all deal with. It's out there. It's real, yeah? But that's what gets in the way of clarity. And so often business owners wake up in the morning, they go, oh, well, I'm just hoping I'm heading in the right direction. It's a bit foggy out there, but I'll feel my way. As I said earlier in the session, clarity precedes mastery. So what we'd love to offer you by being part of this session is a complimentary catch up with one of our team to help you get clarity. We call it a strategy session, and what this allows you to do is have a look at where you are now, help you get clear and more direction on where you'd like to go, and give you 2 or 3 priorities or action steps to take. The session takes anywhere from 60 to 90 minutes, and we can do it face-to-face, or we can do it via a technology platform that we use in-house. But for being part of the session today, what we'd love to do is give everybody an opportunity to be part of that or take advantage of this offer. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to launch a poll, and basically what it's going to say, would you like to find out some more information about a complimentary strategy session with one of our team, regardless of where you are in the country? We're offering it to everybody. And you get the opportunity to tick yes, to tick no, or tick unsure. So if you'd like to find out some more information, you're not quite clear, tick yes or unsure. If it's no, that's quite okay as well. So we're going to leave that up there for 30 to 40 seconds, giving you the opportunity to tick one of those. And what will happen from here, if you ticked yes or ticked unsure, one of the team will be in touch with you over the next 24 to 48 hours to check in with, to find out how you found the session, whether you had any sort of burning questions, and then organise a time to connect with you as well. So I'll keep it up there for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Thank you for that. So, hey, our time has gone quickly. We're basically nearly an hour together. So I trust you've got some value. You're ready to put some things into place. You're ready to listen to this recording again with someone else in your business, particularly to work out those key numbers around your profit targets, your revenue goal, and your magic numbers. Yeah. Again, if you've got any queries or questions, our goal at ProTrade is to be of service to you. Deliver straight information, no fluff, and give you the opportunity to go out and create an amazing business. And essentially what we're here to do is help you create your business and your life the way you choose. Thanks very much for being part of the session. Have a great evening, and we look forward to catching up with you in the future.